snacks. Well, if you've been to a social gathering, you've been to a barbecue, you've been to a cookout, you've been to a party here in Michigan, you've probably had a number of different snack foods. And one of the more common snack foods you'll find here in the state of Michigan are Better Made chips and other snack foods as well. We're joined now by Better Made Snack Foods Vice President of Purchasing, Phil Gusmano, on the MegaCast. Phil, thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. So first off, can you give us a little bit of a backstory to Better Made Snack Foods? When did the business begin? What were kind of the origins of the business? And then what led to the name itself, Better Made?
So Better Made has been in business since 1930. They were started, right in the middle of the Depression. And at the time, there was 22 chip companies actually in the city of Detroit. So 22 different companies in one city, which is just amazing to me. But to differentiate themselves, they came up with the name Better Made. So they were better made than all the rest in the town. And it was true, because of those 22, Better Made is the only one that's left.
Yeah, and that's a good example of the longevity of this business and the way it's expanded over the years. Better Made, I mean, the product that I think a lot of people think about when they think about Better Made chips is they think about that yellow bag of just plain salted potato chips. But there's so many other products. It's Better Made snack foods. It's evolved into that over the years. What are some of the ways that the product line for Better Made and the way that Better Made approaches putting its product to market has changed over the years?
So we're always trying to be fresh and give our customers something new. One example of that is we've just come out with a popcorn, and it's called the Detroit Mix. And it's a mix of caramel and yellow cheddar popcorn. And it is salty and sweet, and it's one of those things that people really enjoy having. It's only been out for a couple of months, but it's really doing well for us.
And so you mentioned some of those newer products, the mixture of those flavors, but you've also dived into that quite a lot in the chip market as well, going from those plain potato chips in that iconic yellow Better Made bag to a variety of different flavors. When did the flavored chip effort for Better Made start? We know that other brands have been doing that for quite a while, but for Better Made, where did that start originally?
Sure. So for the longest time, it was just an original potato chip, and that was for years and years and years. In the 60s, they came out with a sour cream, so it was kind of like the dip is in the chip. So sour cream seasoning was the first. Shortly after that was the barbecue seasoning, and now we have 17 different seasonings, varieties of seasonings that we put on chips.
So where do those ideas generate from? Is there a dedicated team to them? Are you taking suggestions from the public? Is there some mixture of all of the above?
It can come from anywhere. We've had people call in and say, I think you should try this. We have employees that have said, hey, I think this would be a great flavor. We have some of the suppliers that supply us with our seasoning say, hey, this is out on the horizon. We see this as being a hot new flavor, or something that you might want to try out. And so we're willing to look at what people have to offer, and if we throw it at the wall and it sticks, it's great for us.
We're joined by Phil Gusmano, the Vice President of Purchasing at Better Made Snack Foods, joining us on the MegaCast. And so going in and diving into those flavors, those different flavors that are being produced for chips in your company and for other products as well. A lot of those products, you got to kind of tinker with them, got to kind of trial and error with them in order to get that flavoring right. Just how much effort goes into perfecting each of these different flavors of chips before they go anywhere near market?
So we have a whole quality team that's responsible for research and development. We'll come up with a base flavor, we'll apply it to our chips, and then we go through a whole set of processes to validate, do people like them or not? And really, what it comes down to is a lot of taste testing. We do some internally, we do some externally. But for probably everyone that sticks, we probably have 5 or 6 that don't work. And so it is always interesting to see people's reactions to different flavors.
We're joined by Phil Gusmano, the Vice President of Purchasing at Better Made Snack Foods, joining us on the MegaCast. And so it's a great tradition with Better Made of Michigan-based products And of course, Better Made products here in Michigan are wildly popular. It's the reason it's been able to sustain itself as a business for so long in the chip market and in other snack markets as well. But how far outside of Michigan has this traditional brand then expanded, and just how popular is it even beyond the borders of the Great Lakes state?
So it's pretty interesting to see. We have a lot of people that used to live in Michigan that have moved all over the country and all over the world. And at one time, they used to really have a tough time getting their Better Made. But now, with the internet and Amazon and different ordering opportunities, they can get Better Made anywhere in the country at any given time. And it is really interesting to watch how our internet sales have really gone from a fledgling industry to really taking off. And we've actually had to have people dedicated to packing internet orders for outgoing orders.
Much like other snack products that we see on the market, there's often kind of this special push to put this new peculiar different flavor, new peculiar different snack itself out on the market temporarily, or just to test it out, or even to put it out there with a special release and then have it be part of your permanent arsenal of products. Can you tell us a little bit about your Rainbow Old-Fashioned Dark Potato Chips? Our producer, Larry Nyland, brought that up to me, and I thought it was really interesting. What's the story behind that, and when was it first created?
So the Rainbow Potato Chip that we sell is actually a potato that has a higher sugar content. And so when you fry them, the sugar caramelizes, much like when if you saute onions at your house or mushrooms, it turns a little bit brown, and it has a unique taste. It has almost a sweet taste to it. And when we originally started, that was actually considered a defect. And so we would go out and when we were manufacturing and pick them out of the production and set them aside. Well, people started requesting them. So we were able to put the pickouts that we did, we actually put in a box and packaged them up, and we sold them at the end of the day through our store. Demand kept growing for these, and we couldn't supply it. We actually worked with the potato industry and developed a variety of potato that actually gives us that opportunity to run that in a live run, and we were able to actually satisfy the needs of our customers.
And so what goes into the name of that chip? Because it's Rainbow Old-Fashioned Dark Potato Chips. You mentioned what that classification is for that particular chip. It's a higher sugar content, but why rainbow? What significance does that have in the naming?
So back they actually started doing this in the 50s, and really what they were trying to show is that it had a color to it. And so at the time, the rainbow you have colors in the rainbow, and it just helped to show that it was different from the original potato chips that we sold.
We're joined by Phil Gusmano, the Vice President of Purchasing at Better Made Snack Foods, joining us on the MegaCast. Phil, any new special products that are also either being in planning right now that may be on the market soon and people should be looking out for, or have been recently released that are garnering some interest here in Michigan and beyond?
So we talked a little bit about the Detroit mix popcorn. It's a caramel cheddar mix. That is the newest one, but we also have a barbecue cheddar popcorn. And that's our barbecue seasoning that we have from our chips, and we've kind of mixed it together with our cheddar popcorn. And if you like popcorn or if you like barbecue chips, you can try this. It's a fantastic flavor. It's one of my favorites. As far as chips go, we don't have anything really new on the horizon. With everything going on with the pandemic and the supply chain issues, we're kind of sticking to our basics and really just making sure our customers get what they want and when they want it.
So, Phil, you mentioned earlier when we were talking about the variety of different flavors in your chips and your other products that often you do get suggestions from those in the public, for people that are Better Made fans of different flavor combinations or flavors in general they would like to see in your products. If people want to make those suggestions, what's the best way they can go about providing those suggestions to Better Made snack foods?
So if you go to our website, bettermade.com, there's an opportunity for feedback, and we take any kind of questions. can submit your thoughts right there, and we'll get back to you on it.
We're joined by Phil Gusmano, the Vice President of Better Made Snack Foods, joining us on the MegaCast. Phil, just another couple minutes with you. Anything else that would be interesting for us to know about Better Made at this time, or any other news or information we should be on the lookout for in the near future?
Sure. So I'll tell you a little bit. We get 90% of our potatoes actually come from the state of Michigan. And it is interesting. 1 out of every 4 bags of potato chips sold in the country, those potatoes came from Michigan. So Michigan is actually one of the greatest states for growing chipping potatoes in the country. There's more chipping potatoes grown in Michigan than anywhere else in the country, and we get the majority of our potatoes from Michigan. We're a local company, and we stay local. 70% of our employees live within the city of Detroit boundaries. We really try to work on keeping our money local. So when you're buying Better Made chips, those dollars are turning in our state and being reinvested directly into our state. So there is a big push for local purchase, and we fit into that area.
Phil, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.